becoming extraordinarily obvious to me at this point that Donald Trump is going to try something to either or both cancel and or manipulate the midterm elections that are now just 8 months away. It seems obvious from everything that Trump is saying. It seems obvious from everything that Trump is doing. He would love to cancel them. If he can't, he would love to delay the midterms. And if he can't, he would love to manipulate them so that the results are what he decides rather than what reflects the will of the people. Now, I want to be really clear so people don't think I'm saying this will happen. I am not claiming Trump can easily do it. I am not saying that the federal government even can cancel elections that are ultimately run by the states. What I'm saying is Trump would absolutely do it if he believed he could get away with it. And part of that is creating the right political conditions to claim that it's necessary. And that's what Donald Trump is doing right now. Now, over the weekend, I had a bunch of conversations with friends who were saying, what is real reason that Trump is engaged in a conflict with Iran? Something that's getting virtually no coverage on regular media, why Trump has a vested interest at home as it relates to our elections in terms of bombing Iran. Let's explain it with some basic data. At about 2:30 in the morning on Saturday, Donald Trump posted a video on his social media platform Truth Social. Now that's weird in and of itself. And this video announced that we were engaged in military action against Iran. 2 hours later, so it's now 4:30 in the morning. The very next social media post that Donald Trump puts out on True Social is this one, quote, Iran tried to interfere in the 2020 and 2024 elections to stop Trump and now faces renewed war with the United States. Okay, so the first thing that went through Donald Trump's mind after he announces that we are now at war with Iran is to connect that war with his explanation as to why he lost the 2020 election and, his continued fever dreams about 2024. This is dangerous stuff, Brian. This is a signal that it is not just that he, wants to be viewed as doing whatever he's doing in Iran. It's not all about foreign policy. In the same way as you and I have talked before, that Donald Trump is not really just about tariffs or not really just about immigration. All of these things get filtered through the one thing that is unyielding. It is the one thing that never gets compromised. It is the one thing that is always present. And that is Donald Trump's effort to undermine free and fair elections in 2026. And if people don't understand that every other policy, whether it's the economy, whether it's how he handles the Epstein files, whether it is inflation, whether it is tariffs, whether it's deployment of ICE and immigration, or even whether it is war and peace, it all connects up in his mind to what does this mean for my ability to stay in power by not letting Democrats take control of Congress in 2026. Moreover, about a week earlier, Washington Post reported, I'm going to put an excerpt right here on the screen, pro-Trump activists who say they're in coordination with the White House are circulating a 17-page draft executive order that claims China interfered in the 2020 election as a basis to declare a national emergency that would unlock extraordinary presidential power over voting. And so clearly Trump has been on a tear trying to find some foreign country interfering in the 2020 election as a basis to declare these extraordinary powers. Now, you and I have spoken about the fact that there is no presidential power over voting or elections. Elections are administered at the state level. But the question here becomes, what powers does Trump think he has that pointing to interference from China or Iran or Venezuela or Hugo Chavez or whatever other country he lands on? What powers does he think he has that he can exercise by claiming that we're under attack by foreign countries? Let me explain. Yeah, how Donald Trump sees this, right? He's trying to angle, like, how does it benefit me to blame China? How does it benefit me to blame Venezuela? How does it benefit me to blame Iran? I mean, back in 2020, as you point out, he blamed, Hugo Chavez for rigging the voting machines. Of course, Hugo Chavez died in 2013. People in his orbit and his supporters, they blamed Italy and some Kokami theory involving satellites. They blamed Germany. They blamed Cuba. They blamed China. They blamed Venezuela, right? Like, I could go on and on. And the reason why at that time he did it when he was president and this time he's doing it when he's president is because the courts tend to be at their most differential to administrations when it comes to foreign policy and national security. So remember that Donald Trump's Department of Justice was able to lie themselves through a series of hearings and got migrants who had no connection to gangs deported to foreign gulags in El Salvador. And it took months and months before that unraveled completely, that those lies became apparent to everybody. Well, the reason why he was able to get that far is because when the president and the Department of Justice goes into court and says this is a matter of national security, this is a matter of great importance of foreign relations, judges tend to be at their most differential. And so he is bringing into this goulash of election denialism, of voter suppression, is bringing into that conversation, and I believe will continue to use it as a basis for a future executive order, as you point out, or as an excuse in the future to seize ballots or to claim powers or whatever it is. He's banking on these claims of foreign interference because his lawyers are saying this is your strongest ground. But here's the thing, Brian, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because it's so transparent. Like Donald Trump tells the same lies about mail in voting that he connects to foreign governments, as he tells about Democrats, as he tells about that Republicans will never win another election in, what was it, 50 years, right? Like he mixes and matches the same remedies: ban mail in voting, ban certain voting equipment, put in place proof of citizenship, put in place strict voter ID. He mix and matches that between his own craft political interests and his policy interests and his partisan interests and also these foreign policies. So it's not going to work. And you need to insist that the institutions of government, including your elected officials, have a steeled spine and don't back away and get afraid, get frightened from this debate and frightened from this fight because he cites, unspecified national security interests